I'm glad you're bringing it up. But go ahead, Santos. You want to show something on your screen there?
No, I'm going to share my screen in a minute. Yes, but the right is right. Okay. And this is why also it's funny how it turns out that the right wing, which is nationalism, as opposed to the left wing, which is now globalism, is actually, the right wing is actually defeating the left wing. And I can see the analogies there. You know, you can see this in the red and blue of the two parties. You've got Republicans are red, Democrats are blue. Neither of them give a psst, beep, beep about you.
Exactly.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Red pill, red siren, blue siren, red tap, blue tap, red blood, blue blood. What you're seeing there through that is you're seeing the electrical world of effect. It's red and blue. So everything is red and blue, and that's the colours of sex. Watery blue and red fiery passions, the fluids, you see? And that's where left-hand path sex happens. No one is begrudging sex or the quantity of sex. It's the quality of sex. And no one begrudges anyone the quality of sex anyway. You know, if people want to be Shivites and Vamacharas and Mayavadis and left-hand pathers, that's fine. It's when they get on their soapboxes and their platforms and teach it debauchery en masse that we have a duty as the true path and the ones protecting purity. It's a war. It's a spiritual war. We are in a spiritual war. We have a duty to correct our brothers and bring them back to the right path. In public, we have a duty to warn people of the opposing evil demonic debauchery that is coming upon them. You know, they will be deceived. The left-hand path is the path of physical ejaculation for young boys. Get them pregnant, run away when they get pregnant, leave them, and then the government has to look after them. Fill condoms up with a lot of semen. That's a good look. Contraceptives, the pill. Gee, how many women have become obese since they went on the pill? They were beautiful and sexy when they first started, but they needed some sex because their partner was incontinent and incompetent and couldn't contain 30 seconds of emotions and retain his fluids, the incontinent little imbecile. That girl has to take the pill and get fat and ugly. Boy has to unload bucket loads of semen into endless amounts of plastic condoms. Man, there are toilets filled with them. There are sewers filled with them. There are buckets, rubbish bins out the front of people's homes are filled with them. Who knows where they dump this shit, man? Whoa. Incontinent, incompetent ejaculators. That's what the world are. Swine eaters. The worst two things are these two things. What the prodigal son is guilty of. Swine eating, eating flesh, glutton, and ejaculating. Wrong kind of sex. With prostitutes and whores and loose women who can't even encourage their male partners to do the right thing, stop squandering their life, stop impregnating them with children they possibly don't want, stop infecting them with seminal emissions and you know, and learn the blissful path. And it truly is blissful when the man learns how to be disinterested in his genitals and his belly, gluttony and ejaculation, the prodigal son. That's it.
Santos.
All those men out there, all those famous men, rich, standing tall, the PhDs, proud men, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, big houses, they're all ejaculators. A lot of them eat swine, they ejaculate, they're prodigal sons.
Santos, let me ask you this question, because I can already foresee it being in my inbox. I can hear them right now. and they're saying, Cosmic, I watched your video, I heard Santos, what he said, and I want to raise my fluids, right? I want to have a cerebric orgasm, but my partner, or better yet, my wife doesn't. She's hooked on the pleasure. She's hooked on the ejaculation. What do you respond to the brother who comes to you and says that I want to be on the right hand path, but my wife is being more left hand path, or vice versa?
Well, there is a way for that to correct itself in time anyway. Maybe that woman is still not ready to accept a higher form of experience. So that's fine, you know. I mean, no one begrudges her desire to have that pleasure. Sometimes that pleasure is gratifying and it is comforting, and it's like comfort food. You know, although that doesn't mean to say that you should encourage one to sink in their choice of comfort food. It still has to be vegan. You can't say, well, I want some comfort food. I think I'll just break my vegan rules and have just a little bit of crunch on a bit of pig's bum. You know, that doesn't work. You can't now have bacon and eggs. So comfort food, but what I would mean by comfort food is that the rule is purity is not gluttony. The right-hand path is leading more towards renunciation, more towards not as much physical gratification, but other kinds of gratification. You can't just not be gratified. You have to replace the debauched with the pure. But you've got to keep streaming in the pure. It's like a glass of junk, okay? You put it under the tap with one drop. After a couple of hours, it's pure glass, water again, okay? So with the wife, if she wants to have that experience, and that is, it's possibly because that is where she is getting a lot of comfort, or she's probably in that stage, but the man still needs to lead the way, okay? Eventually he needs to correct that. So I just encourage to keep going right path. If there are certain things that are still lingering from left path, which pertains to gluttony, you know, vices such as intoxicating liquors, sexual habits of the kind where contraceptives and condoms and, you know, spilling of seed and life, wasting of life force, you know, we've all done that. I'm not perfect. I never have been perfect, and I'm perfecting. I'm not good. I am goodness. No one is good. Can't be, you know, you can't be all of goodness. We are goodness. And so, but one thing I can say is that I practice what I preach. Veganism, the pure path, the right-hand path, and I practice it more and more every day and increase my practices. I do my yogas, I do my breathing, I do my chanting, I do my music, I do my dancing, I do grounding, earthing, everything, all nature's natural things.
So let me say this to our live viewers out there, and I'm glad you brought it the way that you are. That for the brothers out there who are pursuing right-hand path, for the sisters out there who are pursuing right-hand path, and your partner is kind of wanting to stay left-hand path, keep going to the right, keep moving to the right, and we have great confidence that it will correct itself.
Well, here's one thing. Possibly she is wanting that kind of sex because she doesn't know what he's capable of in the other realm of of sex, and so she's limiting him because he has limited himself in his experiences. But one day, should he surprise her by getting some candles out and some soft music?
Come on.
And I've got mosquitoes everywhere. And say to her, tonight, I'm going to treat you to something different, and it's my way. If you don't like it, I won't continue it. And then so he can surprise her, right?
I like the way you think, Santos. I like.
Yeah, and then so, but see, always transcendence must be there. Holiness, not depravity. Holiness. Sex can be transmuted to such a beautiful thing where partners truly love each other. They're not just tolerating each other and forbearing each other because, well, they get a good 10-minute sex job every second day whenever they're, up to it or whatever, and he brings the money home or she's cute or whatever. What I'm going to read to you in a minute shows how urgent and necessary it is for perfecting of relationships to go right-hand path. And then what happens is then the union gets stronger. It solidifies rather than down in the groin, through the heart, the soul, and then it goes up into the head where these two forms of creativity, Leo the lion and Aries the lamb and the lion lying down together,
I like it.
Creating together sexually, or any other form. Sex is just one way to Eden. There's a beautiful video on YouTube called Sex, the Secret Door to Eden. It's about 50 minutes long, and it teaches the right-hand path to
I
get...
I watched that with I think the Gnostics. I think it was on a Gnostic channel I saw that on. Good stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the right-hand path. The Gnostics were right-hand pathers. The Sufis were right-hand pathers. The Hare Krishnas, the Vaishnavas on the Hindu side. And on the Buddhist side, I think you have... Well, you do. Yes, you do have a right-hand path, of course. The right-hand path is the original, true, pure source of all philosophies. And all philosophies are pure. Islam is pure. Christianity is pure on the right. Okay? Now, let me share the screen.
Okay.
And we're going to have some fun.
Sounds good.
Hot diggity. Hot diggity dog. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Right. So, what we're going to read is this here. So, let me know when you can, when it's legible to you at the right.
I'm about to make it a little bit bigger for the folks who are watching at home as well. Let's 1 second here. Get real good there.
Okay, now while you're setting it up to perfection, I'll read because this is already going to be 10 minutes, so it'll be up and people can read it, and I can send them the file. Just ask me to send it, email me. And
we got it. Go ahead.
But this is, huh?
So we got it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll continue reading then. It is not necessary to spill the semen to engender a child. Imbeciles like to spill the semen. This is from the book The Perfect Matrimony, Samael Aum Weor. Okay, you'll see it here in the. It's here in the title. Okay, so I think that's. I've reduced it in size so it's a little bit more legible. Can you notice that, Cosmic?
Yes.
Okay. The Gnostic is not an imbecile. When the couples are sexually united, clairvoyants usually see a very brilliant light which envelops the pair. In this instant, precisely, the creative forces of nature come to serve as a means for the creation of a new being. When the couple allow themselves to be carried away by carnal passion and then commit the crime of
Huh? Make it big again, brother. Make it bigger.
Okay. So.
There we go. That's good. Just like that.
Their place is taken by luciferic forces. Okay. When the couple allow themselves to be carried away by carnal passion and then commit the crime of spilling the semen, those luminous forces withdraw. Their place is taken by luciferic forces of a blood-red colour, bringing quarrels, jealousy, adultery, tears, and desperation to the home. This is how homes, which could have been a heaven on earth, become true infernos. Whoever does not spill the semen retains, accumulates for himself peace, abundance, wisdom, happiness, and love. With the key of sexual magic, one can put an end to disputes in the home. This is the key to true happiness. During the act of sexual magic, couples are charged with magnetism. They magnetize each other. The pelvis of the woman pours out feminine currents, whilst the breasts give off masculine ones. In the men, the feminine current is rooted in the mouth, and the masculine in his virile member. All these organs should be well excited by means of sexual magic in order to give and receive, transmit and collect vital magnetic forces, which continue increasing extraordinarily in quantity and quality. In the homes of Gnostic initiates, where between the couple there is such intimate sexual contact, delightful dance, joyful music, the ardent kiss, have the object of achieving of the mutual magnetization of man and woman. The magnetic power is masculine and feminine at the same time. The man needs the currents of his wife if he really wants to progress. And inevitably, she needs those of her husband to achieve the development of her powers. When the couples magnetize each other, things progress and happiness makes its nest in the home. When a man and a woman unite, something is created. Scientific chastity permits the transmutation of the sexual secretions into light and fire, not water. See, pay attention. The water orgasm is not light and fire. It is water, hence physical, hence it is not spiritual. Every religion which degenerates preaches celibacy. Here is another debauchery, celibacy. Every religion at its birth and in its... Notice he says there degenerates. That's the left-hand path, okay? All religions first emanate from the right-hand path. Okay, let me continue. Every religion at its birth and in its glorious splendor preaches the path of the perfect matrimony. This is the right-hand path, guys. Buddha was married and established the perfect matrimony. Unfortunately, the prophecy made by Buddha, Lord Buddha, was fulfilled with complete exactitude 500 years later, and this Dharma would be exhausted. This Dharma would be exhausted, and that the Sangha would be divided into dissident sects. It was then that Buddhist monasticism and the hatred of the perfect matrimony was born. You see, hatred of the perfect matrimony, the right-hand path, was born by the demon-worshipping left-hand pathers. The demons infested this plane from the subterranean realms a few thousand years ago and have influenced many of the teachers, the Brahmacharas, the Mayavadis, and all the false prophets, and who are teaching falsehood and debauchery and not purity. And so this is that hatred was first started in the schools where they first initiated the teachings of eating flesh of animals and participating in the debauchery of the ejaculation. They encouraged it they taught it. And how they do that is they encourage you to go out and get condoms, protect yourself. So you see a good materialist left-hand path that will turn up at the disco and at the bar, ready to pick up. He'll have 6 condoms in his right pocket there, and he's already, and the woman, she's already got her ejaculatory protective sex with her. She's probably on the pill, so she's good. Getting fat and ugly, not so good. But anyway, at least you're getting plenty of ejaculations and swine eating and prodigal son activity, okay? This, in all doctrines in the right-hand path, in their origin, they always warn against the right-hand path of swine eating and ejaculating, okay? So I'll continue on. Jesus, the divine Saviour, brought Christic esotericism esotericism to the world. The Adorable One taught his disciples the path of the perfect matrimony. Peter, the first pontiff of the church, was a married man. Peter was not celibate. Peter had a wife. Unfortunately, after 600 years, the message of the Adorable One was adulterated, and the Church of Rome turned to the dead forms of Buddhist monasticism, with its cloistered monks and nuns who mortally hate the path of the perfect matrimony. These are the celibates. Oh boy, they're as bad as the ejaculators. It was then, after 600 years of Christianity, that another message about the perfect matrimony became necessary. Then came Muhammad, the great teacher of the perfect matrimony. Naturally, as always, Muhammad was violently rejected by the infrasexuals who hate women. The loathsome fraternity of the enemies of women believes that only through forced celibacy can one reach God. This is a crime. Okay, well, this is enough. This is just one page out of this book. Now, the reason I'm sharing this is because this highlights the urgency for men to, really grow up spiritually. They don't have to if they don't want to. They can grow up materially. They can be clever and all of that lovely stuff on the goat left-hand path. But the warning is you'll be stuck here for a good long while. Okay, so...
Because I just thought about the idea of the horny goat, right? The goat's on the right. I just thought about that, the horny goat. But I need to ask you this before we get
on the left, not the right.
I'm still on the left. Excuse me, on the left. I need to ask you this because it's even coming in the comments. They are already ahead of me. And before you get to your next material here, talk to us. Please address celibacy. That was a shocker for me. That was a shocker for me. So I get the indiscriminate ejaculation. Got it. But you're saying that on the other extreme, celibacy and withholding from sex is also a left-hand behavior.